It is time for our feature poet now. It is my esteemed honor, my esteemed pleasure to welcome this gentleman up here. Let's give a little bit of history. He was born in Center Point, Arkansas in 1929. Professor William Maxwell grew up in Arizona and studied at Howard, Oregon State, Maryland, California, and Oxford universities. He earned his Bachelor's of Science from Oregon State University and was the first African-American male to graduate from that university. Yeah. He earned his master's and his doctorate at Harvard University and went on to create and pioneer an educational model for the 21st century. This man has created a program that sees the genius in every child that he and his colleagues encounter. There's genius in every child. Just as Carol was saying, there's light in all of us. This man helps us find it. He's a philosopher, he's a poet, he's a beautiful soul. Y'all clap it up for our feature, Professor William Maxwell. And he loves handouts.
33 years old. This.
Yeah, 33 years old. Woo! Never missed a week.
It's an honor for all of us to share in a history that is filled with love. Every poem is somehow flavored, seasoned with some kind of love. Love for what will be, love for what was, a love for something missing. I had planned tonight, Kai. Pardon my voice. I explained to last week, one of my vocal cords decided to go paralyzed, and the other one hasn't learned how to deal with it. But now I'm trying to learn, so we'll gradually deal with it. Part one, every human likes to experiment. That's how we are very different from other species. So tonight, I want to experiment with poetry. You might have done this before, but let's see. The evening started off by talking about joy. Well, there's a scale. Despair, sadness, equanimity, joy, and above joy is ecstasy. I often ask my psychology students, how many ways are there in our repertory of behaviors? How many ways are there to experience ecstasy? Guess what? They could only come up with one. Guess what that is? Well, I would stop. We ain't moving until someone comes up with 2. And then 3. And then 4. One class got up to 35 ways of achieving ecstasy. Here's a way we're going to experiment tonight. We humans love to divide ourselves, but we also enjoy unity with another soul. So tonight, this little experiment is taking a leaf from the Quakers. I'll start a poem, any old poem, and you, if some muse or some angel or some Holy Spirit puts another line in your head, hold up your hand and offer it. Kai, I have a prize for the person who gives the best line.
Okay. Lifetime of teaching. He has prizes. He has handouts. Y'all aren't ready, okay?
This is a prize. Frog Pond is the Haiku Society Book of Poetry every year. All right, here's a poem. If you get an idea, or if the muse, a muse, puts an idea of a line in your head, hold up your hand and continue the poet. Let me get my voice. 'Twas 3 nights before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
The poets all gathered at the mic with their hearts open to the world.
Excellent. That's not the end.
But the grump on the mountain, the castle so dark.
Wonderful. The muse speaks to us all the time. Listen. Another. The gentleman here with the blue mask. You with the white hair. With the red ball.
You know he's talking to you, man. Come on.
Shaman.
Him with the grumpy eye up there on the mountain could not see the smiles. He could not see the smiles because he had a very bad day.
For those who just came in, this is a group therapy session where we're completing a poem, but you don't speak along the Quaker faith unless the Spirit moves you. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You lose the grumpy day when you put your ego away. You bring in your light and you share a smile, and it goes from there.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Did I mention there's a prize right here?
Maybe the Muses are on vacation. I don't think they ever take vacations. Mr. Shaman.
3 days away. Can I hardly wait? I look under the tree and I see that big present. I wonder, is that the one that I'm going to have, or is my brother going to get it in front of me?
Sir, with the
The rumblings beneath are covered with joy. We either live on fear or we evolve beyond and find love.
'Twas the night, 3 nights before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. And then an angel spoke and gave us the word.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Take yourself seriously. Yes, ma'am. With the hat.
Come up, wherever you are, go behind your wrappers. I tell you now to share.
Wonderful. Okay, Kai, it's time to give out a prize.
All right.
I'll sign it later.
Well, who do you think?
You're the judge.
Oh, snap.
Okay, I'm going to tear the book into 3 equal parts here.
No, I'm not. I'm going to give it to Carol.
By the way, most experiments work on the 1035th time. That was Edison's experiment. So this is the first time. We got 1,000 to go. I forgot to introduce a wonderful videographer that I invited to record this session because I have friends I'm connecting with twice a month in Korea, in Japan, in Fiji, and all around the world. And I want Mr. Michael Mueller to put this on YouTube and let them know that here in America, we still love poetry. So thank you, Mr. Mueller. If you ever have an event that needs remembering, like Kai's mother's message system, I recommend Mr. Mueller. He's right here in Hot Springs. In 1844, in Persia, a new movement began. The first martyr of that movement was a woman named Tyree, the first known women's rights martyr in modern times. I'm going to ask Kai to close my session with this poem in about 20 minutes. He'll give you, it's just one page, he'll give you time to study her rhythms.
Thank you.
Thank you. As a scholar, as a professor, I evolved like you evolved in whatever you do. I have evolved to the point where all of my books end with a poem. But this particular book, the last major book I wrote, every chapter ends with a poem. And because of my voice, you're not going to be bored with a bunch of poems, only 2 or 3. But I'm going to read a poem I think you will appreciate. This comes out of Africa. For 500 years, America, particularly Britain secondarily, France and much of Europe, has taught the world that nothing good comes out of Africa. This is an inferior species, never producing anything of quality. That is an excuse for colonialism and slavery. So I lived in Nigeria 6.5 years and fell in love with the beautiful parts of the hundreds of cultures there. So this book celebrates the first hero. The first hero lived approximately 190,000 years ago in the jungles that were ruled by tyrants, chiefs, despots, savage men. This woman with 6 children felt there was a better life in the savannah, so she moved. And that's the beginning of every great revolution. Abraham moved. Joseph, the husband of Mary, moved to Egypt. This book is about a woman moving. I love Kai's explanation of a relationship between her and her mother. It's an encomium Ty wrote. Here is a poem that I recommend you read to your mother, that you read to your children, who will read it to you. It's short. She is mother, the giver of life, the first teacher, the molder of heroes. She is love, she is caring, she is mother, with a love that is unconditional, unwavering, originating in eternity. To the child, there can never be another. Her dreams inspire scientists and artists and saviors of nations. She urges kindliness and generosity and the sharing of rations. She corrects our speech, our gait, our posture, even our looks, and leads us to the ocean of knowledge deposited in books. And when she dies, she doesn't leave us without a guide. She beseeches the purest angels to stand close by our side. A mother, and hopefully a father, teaches us to love nature. In 1901, the French discovered that when you separate children from nature, you lower their IQ. So they invited France's greatest scholar to study that phenomenon and try to correct it. His name was Alfred Binet. He invented the IQ test to check up on our children that they were progressing properly. I am nature. I am nature. I do not ask that you worship me or even love me, though I wish you'd respect me. I am nature. I helped to bring you into being and help you fashion. I am nature. I provided everything you need to live abundantly. I am nature. Billions of years before you were able to converse, I designed the seeds that would nurture you, that would clothe you, and would power your way across the universe. I am nature. If you live not abundantly, with bountiful foods and gentle homes in peaceful gardens, seek the cause of your deprivations. Look to your visionless leaders, your foolish wardens. In this dark night of dying civilizations, you seek in vain for kind ministrations. And I weep for your needless suffering. Come here. Sit near me. Touch me. I am nature. Find me. Commune with me. I am nature. Inhale my myriad fragrances, that your blood may flow redder and stronger, and grant you the courage to change everything that is not good for you. I am nature, your unseen yet manifest mother. Listen to me. Listen to your mother's plea. I wish to teach you. I do not ask that you worship me or even love me, though I wish you would seek to understand me and thus know thyself and thus be my grateful gift to God. By the way, when this hero in the savannah, all kinds of good things and bad things happened. She was eaten by an extinct bear, the brown bear of the Sahara. So her 6 children had to mend for themselves. But anyway, here's one of the poems that comes out of her anguish. Ladies of the kingdom of Amazon, ponder the victories yet to be won. When will you rise to challenge your brother? Once your dearest kin, now bound to self and no other. In him, vision and compassion no longer dwell. Now his goal is greed. His life path, a road to hell. He has forgotten the sweetness of gentle love and allied himself with the hawk, not the dove. His greed had brought his kindred to their knees. This time, though, there is no Hercules. Women of the kingdom of Amazon, hasten to the valley of Armageddon, there to rescue your brother from battles never to be won. Flawed and wounded though he be, bring him home to his sisters, his family, where awaits a reunion and a healing jubilee. Now a 5-minute commercial, but a good commercial. In 1962, the world's second most famous economist found a remedy for racism. Nobel laureate Milton Friedman published his remedy for racism. It's extraordinarily simple. Give every child a first-rate education after you have found his strongest talents. I repeat, a simple economic remedy for racism. Find every child's genius, educate that genius, and racism disappears. Racism is a symptom of an inferiority complex. People who find their geniuses don't need to hate. I've tried to promulgate that extraordinarily simple idea for 57 years in vain. Finally, I moved to my hometown, Howard County, Arkansas, and today the newspaper put me on the front page with about 3,000 words describing what I'm hoping to do in Howard County, Arkansas. That is a flyer I'm handing out to everybody that you can read about. In the meantime, I'm selling my books, all of which go to help fund that American Creed Academy. This one is how to raise super children, genius children. It's called Super Parenting. This one is that book in Korean, translated by a friend, publisher, I think the largest English language publishing house in Korea. So if you have a Korean friend, surprise the hell out of him or her with buying this book and giving it as a Christmas present to your Korean friend. This one is the story of that hero that I just read from. And the other one is Genius Baby, for those who like spy stories. History fiction is not quite this. This is a spy espionage story by a 2-year-old genius kids who have solved a major crime. Those are my commercials. Just as pointed out to you, one of the things that Milton Friedman and Ann Rowe at Harvard, the most patrician woman I've ever met in my life, her book is called The Making of a Scientist. She's the first woman in the world to write a cookbook on how people produce scientists. It's not an accident. It is always deliberate. So read my propaganda, go to my website, and I think everything there will appeal to the sweet side of your personality. I want to close my part by thanking Mr. Mueller for recording this. I hope he can edit it. I hope he can edit it so that the voice is possibly hearable in Fiji or in Korea or in Albania, where I lived 3 years, or in Nigeria, where I lived 6 years. Thank you all for listening. I'll ask Kai to close my part by reading a poem written by the first known women's rights martyr in modern history. Her name was Tyree, born in Iran in the 1820s, killed by her own father and husband because she dared to suggest that women were equal to men. She learned the Quran from her own father, a mullah, a very powerful teacher of Islam. She learned the true Islam that had been taken over by scoundrels. And thus she died. But before she died, she wrote her poems to you and me. So we'll close with Kai reading. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you, Professor Maxwell. I always just feel like I learn so much about our existence, about our planet, about culture, just when I hear you speak. So it's been an honor just to listen to you, just to hear you philosophize about your travels, your life, and the potential that you see in everybody. Thank you, sir. It's been an honor. Look up. Look up. Our dawning day draws its first breath. The world grows light. Our souls begin to glow. No ranting sheik rules from his pulpit throne. No mosque hawks holiness it does not know. No sham, no pious fraud, no priest commands. The turban's knot cuts to its root below. No more conjurations, no spells, no ghosts. Good riddance, we are done with folly's show. The search for truth shall drive out ignorance. Equality shall strike the despots low. Let warring ways be banished from the world. Let justice everywhere its carpet throw. May friendship ancient hatreds reconcile. May love grow from the seed of love we sow. Thank you, Professor Maxwell.